Another ghost story, one of my favorites, the Ghost of Clifton Webb. The Ghost Clifton Webb may be thought of as the ghost of Mr. Belvedere, probably his best known acting role. He represented the epitome of Anglo-Saxon cool and wit, but actually hailed from the US Midwest, and his accent and manner were strictly stage-induced. His home was a white stucco building in one of the quieter parts of Beverly Hills, and it was built in the Spanish tradition. Grace Moore owned the house before he bought it. Clifton Webb was a believer in the paranormal, and he was friends with Mr. Ken Kingsley, a professional psychic, and he had confided that more than once he had seen the spirit of Grace Moore in his house. Evidently, the restless spirit of the late singer had stayed on in the house throughout its occupation by Clifton Webb and his mother, Maybelle, who died in 1959. It would appear that the dancing figure of a woman, which the current owner has reportedly seen, goes back to the Grace Moore period rather than to the time of Clifton Webb. Webb never married and often stated that he never wanted to, probably because of the overpowering relationship with his mother. After his mother died, he became somewhat of a recluse, and while in semi-retirement, he kept to the house most of the time, seeing fewer and fewer friends until he died in October 1966, 8 years after his mother had died. The house was purchased by a Hollywood producer and his writer wife, and on the first night in the house, an event took place that frightened them. In a room known as the Greek Room, because of its motif, there was a bathroom where if objects were left on a shelf, overnight they would transfer themselves to the bathroom cabinet. Often when one tried to retreat from the bathroom, the door would be locked and resisted opening. One morning, the wife woke up to find her cigarettes broken in half, tobacco scattered all over the bed, and the package crushed. It was well known in his later years the late Clifton Webb had been vehemently against smoking. On occasion, an ectoplasmic ghost, a tall grey figure, would display itself in the Greek Room window to those standing outside. During the first few weeks of occupation of the house, the pets, dogs and cats, behaved strangely, barking and whining and refusing to enter certain rooms at times. 1 year from the day that Clifton Webb died, there was an unforgettable occurrence. All that evening the dog had been howling and running about the house, wildly, as if anticipation something dreadful was to happen. Sounds were heard for which there seemed to be no natural explanation. Then in the middle of the night, the occupants were woken as someone was moaning in their bedroom, and they both saw a grey figure forming in the corner of the room. It is believed that the house is haunted by two spirits, Grace Moore and Clifton Webb. Thank you.